Can you sit down on the floor and stand back up without using your hands? Most people over 60 can't, and many don't even try. But in a small wooden house outside Kyoto, an 87-year-old woman does this every morning. Not for exercise, not to impress anyone, just to make her breakfast. Her name is Ko, and she doesn't go to the gym. She doesn't lift weights. But every day, by sitting to peel vegetables, kneeling to water her plants, or standing up after tea, she's building strength. Not loud strength, quiet strength. In Japan, elders don't retire from movement. They keep bending, sitting low, getting up from the floor, because that's just how they live. Meanwhile, in the West, we're told to avoid the floor. We raise our chairs, cushion our beds, and eventually stop trusting our own legs. Until one day, we need help just to stand. But what if we've misunderstood the floor all along? What if the ground isn't where strength ends, but where it quietly begins? Let's explore the Japanese habit that could change the way we age, one quiet movement at a time. If you really want to know how strong someone is, don't ask them to lift weights. Ask them to sit down on the floor and then stand back up. No hands. It sounds simple. But for millions of older adults, this is nearly impossible. In fact, a study published in the European Journal of Preventive Cardiology found that the ability to sit and stand from the floor without assistance strongly predicts longevity. Those who struggle with this movement have up to a 5x higher risk of early death. Yet most people never think about it until they fall or can't get up. You see, floor movement isn't just about flexibility. It's a full-body strength test. It activates your thighs, glutes, hips, core, and even your brain. It requires balance, coordination, and control, all the things we start losing if we stop using them. But here's the twist. The floor hasn't changed. We have. Modern life has engineered the ground out of our daily routines. We sit in high chairs, sleep on tall beds, and eat at raised tables. We avoid squatting, bending, kneeling because it's too hard. And then we wonder why our legs feel weaker every year. This isn't just about aging. It's about disconnection from our bodies, from movement, from strength we once had.
Yes, the
In
variance in the motor
Japan,
unit recruitment
elders
is
take a
quite
different
telling here.
path. They never stopped moving close to the ground. And that small difference, it changes everything. Let's look at how a culture built around floor-level living quietly preserves strength without ever calling it exercise. From tatami to resilience, how Japan builds strong legs. Without a gym in Japan, strength doesn't start in a gym. It starts at home, on tatami mats, at low dining tables, and by taking off shoes at the door. Here, movement isn't a scheduled activity. It's built into the rhythm of daily life. Imagine this. An elderly man kneels to light incense each morning. A grandmother squats to rinse rice, sitting back on her heels with ease. A young mother eats dinner cross-legged on the floor, her baby crawling beside her. These aren't exercises, they're rituals. And every one of them strengthens the body quietly, repeatedly, and naturally. In most Japanese homes, chairs and sofas are optional. Meals are often enjoyed at chabudai, low tables close to the ground. People sleep on futons, rolled out each night and stored away in the morning. That means elders bend, kneel, lift, and rise every single day. Not once or twice, but dozens of times. And over a lifetime, those small movements add up to something powerful: resilience. While many in the West are told to take it easy after 70, Japanese elders continue to participate. They garden, they cook, they sweep their front steps, not because they have to, but because they always have. There's no moment where movement stops and aging starts.
Doesn't it?
Because in Japan,
absolutely.
aging includes movement. It's not separated from life, it is life. One study from the Tokyo Metropolitan Institute of Gerontology found that older adults who regularly sit and stand from the floor have significantly better leg strength, balance, and independence, even outperforming some seniors who use walking aids.
A
But perhaps
perfect
the
day
real
for
secret
tea.
isn't physical at all. It's cultural. Because when a society expects you to keep moving, you do. Not out of fear, but out of habit, pride, and purpose. That's what we're missing. Not just the movement, but the meaning behind it. So how do we bring that meaning back, especially if our bodies aren't used to moving that way? Let's begin by looking at what went wrong in Western habits and what we can start doing differently today. The Western disconnect. Comfort. That weakens. Let's be honest. Most of us were raised to believe that comfort is progress. That soft chairs, elevated beds, and hands-free appliances are signs of a better life. And for a while they were. But somewhere along the way, comfort stopped being a tool and became a trap. In the West, we've designed our homes to avoid effort. We eat at tables that require no bending. We sleep in beds so high they need step stools. We sit for hours in recliners, then wonder why it hurts to stand. Even our toilets are designed to prevent squatting, an instinct that once kept our hips, knees, and core flexible. And when aging begins, we double down. We add grab bars, motorized lifts, walkers, anything to make sure we never touch the floor again. But here's the paradox. The very things we use to protect ourselves from effort are the same things that accelerate decline. When we stop challenging our legs, they weaken. When we stop bending, we stiffen. When we stop trusting our balance, we lose it. In trying to keep elders safe, we unintentionally disconnect them from their own power. Contrast this with Japan, where 80-year-olds still sit on the floor to eat, kneel to pray, and fold laundry on tatami mats. Not because they're forced to, but because no one ever told them to stop. And that makes all the difference. It's not about rejecting modern life, it's about recognizing what we've left behind, natural movement. So the question becomes, how do we bring it back into our lives, without pain, shame, or fear? That's where quiet rituals come in. Small, intentional movements that reconnect us with strength we didn't realize was still there.
As you reach,
and it all
exhale
begins with
as you
the
relax.
simplest of habits. Repeated until it becomes part of you. Let's explore one of the most powerful, hidden rituals that Japanese elders practice every single day, often without even knowing it. Invisible repetitions, the ritual of strength. Her name is Ko. She's 87, lives alone in a wooden house nestled among cypress trees in rural Japan. Every morning, she makes miso soup from scratch. She kneels to wash vegetables, squats to open the fridge, sits cross-legged to enjoy breakfast. There are no dumbbells in her home, no treadmill, no personal trainer. But every gesture she makes, getting up, kneeling down, reaching, turning, is strength training. She just doesn't call it that. Because in her world, movement isn't a task, it's tradition. In the West, we count reps. In Japan, they count moments, hundreds of them each day. Ordinary motions done with quiet presence.
Keep those
When Ko
elbows
takes
tucked
off her
in,
slippers, she balances on one leg.
and slowly bring them back
When she
down.
picks up her teacup, she's engaging her core. When she folds her futon, she's doing a full-body stretch. None of it is labeled exercise. Yet all of it builds resilience, grace, and independence. These are invisible repetitions, movements so natural, so embedded in life, they go unnoticed. But their effects are profound. Because unlike gym routines that fade when motivation runs out, rituals stay. They anchor you. They become identity. In fact, researchers in Tokyo have found that these everyday movements, repeated thousands of times across a lifetime, produce greater long-term muscle retention than sporadic high-intensity workouts. It's not the intensity that matters
With our
most.
advanced formula,
It's the continuity.
you can defy the signs
The body,
of
it
aging.
turns out, remembers patterns more than pressure. So if you've ever felt like it's too late to regain your strength, take this in. You don't need to train harder. You need to move more intentionally. That's what Ko does. That's what millions of Japanese elders do. And that's what you can begin right where you are. No gym, no timeline, just one quiet movement at a time. Now let's look at the science behind this simplicity and why it works, even if you start late. Science behind the simplicity. It sounds almost too simple, doesn't it? Sitting, standing, squatting, reaching. But behind these humble movements is a growing body of science that says this is exactly what the body needs to stay alive, truly alive, longer. Let's start with your legs. According to a long-term study by the Tokyo Metropolitan Institute of Gerontology, seniors who sit and stand from the floor at least 5 times a day show significantly better leg strength, balance, and walking speed than those who rely solely on chairs. And not just compared to inactive elders, some even outperform seniors using walkers or attending fitness classes. Why? Because floor-level movement engages more muscles, more often, more naturally. When you lower yourself to the ground, you're not just working your thighs. You're activating your glutes, hip flexors, core stabilizers, and ankle joints, all crucial for preventing falls. But here's where it gets even more fascinating. Movement affects the mind. Researchers at Kyoto University found that older adults who maintain floor-based routines also show higher levels of cognitive resilience and mood stability. The simple act of standing from the ground boosts blood flow to the brain, increases oxygen intake, and supports better posture, all of which contribute to mental clarity and emotional calm. In other words, mobility isn't just physical, it's neurological. Every time you move your body, you remind your brain that you're still here, still useful, still engaged. And over time, this daily feedback loop creates something science calls neuroplastic confidence, the belief, supported by the brain itself, that you are capable of adapting and growing at any age. So when Ko kneels to water her plants, it's not just a task, it's a message, a signal that her body and mind are still connected. And that's a message your body is still capable of sending too, starting today. But you don't need to live in Kyoto or sleep on tatami mats to access these benefits. You just need a soft surface and a willingness to try. Let's explore how to begin this habit safely, gently, and meaningfully, no matter how long it's been. Your body remembers, even after 70. Maybe you're thinking, that's great for people who've always been active, but I haven't sat on the floor in decades. Or maybe your knees ache. Your balance feels uncertain. And deep down, you're afraid of falling and not being able to get back up. That fear is real
Up we
and
go.
valid. But so is this truth. Your body remembers, even after 70. Even after surgeries, stiffness, or seasons of stillness. Even if you've been sitting in the same chair for years, your muscles haven't forgotten how to move. They're just waiting for permission to try again. And when you do, something incredible happens. The brain and body begin to reconnect. Gently, quietly, and steadily. You don't need to drop into a full squat. You don't need to get up without help. You just need to start low and slow. Begin with a cushion, a yoga mat, a folded blanket on the floor. Sit however feels safest. Cross-legged, legs to the side, or with support behind your back. Even 1 minute per day is enough to start reawakening strength. Use a wall or a sturdy chair when standing. That's not cheating. That's training smart. Each repetition is not a test. It's a vote
To properly
for your
engage your
strength,
core,
your
focus
independence,
on your breath.
and your future self. And the best part? You are not starting from zero. You are starting from memory, from muscle memory, from ancestral patterns of movement your body still carries. In Japan, even elders with arthritis continue this practice. They use thicker cushions, move slower, but they keep moving because they know if they stop, they start shrinking, not just physically, but emotionally. So let's not aim for perfection. Let's aim for reconnection. Next, we'll walk through a gentle 30-day plan,
The data clearly
designed
shows a
not to
significant
push,
improvement in
but to help
balance
you come
scores,
home to your
directly
body,
correlating with consistent
one
floor
quiet
movement
step at a
practices
time.
among our elder patients.
The 30-day reconnection plan. You don't need a personal trainer. You don't need fancy equipment. And you definitely don't need to go hard. All you need is a quiet corner, a soft surface, and a few minutes each day. This isn't a challenge. It's not a boot camp. It's a gentle return to the parts of yourself you may have forgotten, but never truly lost. Let's break it down week by week. Week 1. Reconnect and observe. Sit on a cushion or folded blanket for 2 minutes per day. Use support. Lean on a wall. Place hands beside you. This is about comfort, not performance. Try different positions: cross-legged, seiza, kneeling, or legs to the side. Stand back up once or twice, using a sturdy chair or low bench for help. Journal how you feel, not to track success, but to listen to your body. Goal: re-establish the mind-body connection. Awareness is the first form of healing. Week 2, add gentle purpose. Increase to 3 minutes of seated floor time daily. Try standing up from the floor 3 times per session, slowly. Fold laundry or sort small items while seated on the floor. Begin using intentional transitions. Kneel to reach something, sit low to tie shoes. Goal: integrate strength into daily life without calling it exercise. Week
So
3,
how do you see the connection
create
between
meaningful
mindfulness
rituals.
and a long,
Choose
healthy
one meal
life?
or tea
I
time
believe
per
true
week to enjoy
longevity
seated
comes
on the
from inner
floor.
peace.
Add light rituals. Read, meditate, or pray in low posture. Notice changes: easier standing, steadier balance, deeper breath. Goal: link movement to something you love, not just something you should do. Week 4, build your own rhythm. Choose a time of day that feels best: morning, after lunch, or before bed. Add 5 floor-to-stand repetitions per day, with or without assistance. Combine with real tasks: water plants while kneeling, reach for low cabinets intentionally. Make it yours. Add music, light a candle, drink herbal tea after practice. Goal: turn habit into identity. Not something you do, but part of who you are. By the end of these 30 days, you won't feel like an athlete, but you may sleep better,
Would you like to
stand
try it?
easier,
Yes, thank
breathe
you.
deeper,
Yeah.
and most of all, you'll feel stronger in who you are. Because this journey isn't about floor strength. It's about reclaiming your space, your choices, your rhythm. Next, let's look at what's truly at stake and why these quiet rituals may matter more than any gym ever could. Freedom at floor level. What's really at stake? In the end, this isn't about sitting or standing. It's about something much deeper, something sacred. It's about choice, dignity, and the quiet power of being able to care for yourself even in your later years. When you can rise from the floor without help, it sends a message to your legs, to your brain, to your spirit. That message says, I still belong to myself. In Japan, this message is felt daily through rituals that involve movement, presence, and purpose. Not because elders must move, but because they still can. And because when you're still useful in your own space, you feel valuable. Not like a burden, but like a human being. That's what's really at stake. Not just mobility, but meaning. So if your knees ache, if your balance feels shaky, know this:
May peace
you are not broken.
and serenity
You are not
fill
too late.
our hearts.
You are still here, and your body is still listening. Even one movement per day, a gentle sit, a slow rise, is an act of defiance
Would you like to
against
try it?
decline.
Yes, thank you.
It's a
Yeah.
whisper to yourself that says, I'm not done. So place your cushion, set your timer, and begin again. Because strength doesn't have to be loud. Sometimes it's quiet, grounded, and waiting right beneath your feet.